Hey, how you guys doing, man? I'm back with another episode of It Factor, and today we have somebody special as always. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hello, first I just want to thank you so much for having me on the It Factor. My name is Dr. Wourman. I am an assistant professor at James Madison University, and I'm happy to be here today.
Yes. I'm happy to have you today, man. It's so amazing to meet you. And you doctor now, like you big dog out here.
I am. When you first reached out to me, seems like a year ago, but was it a year ago or just a few months ago?
Just a few months ago. It was like
I was
back. Yeah.
I was still finishing up my dissertation, and I finally finished in May, and now I'm Dr. Jayla. So it's been a jam-packed year for sure.
I like that, man. That's good, man. I'm glad you out here in these streets doing good. Man, so basically, just first off, man, tell me, how are you? How have you been? Like, how have things been for you since finishing?
Okay, because I was gonna say currently now or like just in general.
Or in general.
It's been a whirlwind for sure. I'm doing really good though. Of course, it's busy just with my new job, and we're at the end of the semester, but I have been great. It's been an exciting year. I mean, just with me completing a doctorate degree, it's something that I kind of have thought about, but I mean, just to see it come to fruition, that was exhilarating in the middle of a pandemic. That's a whole nother conversation that I'll get to later. So just to think of everything I was able to accomplish, it's been an exciting year. And I'm doing good. I'm managing all the adjustments, all the transitions. I feel like I've been able to manage them as best as I can.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So tell me about what started your journey, to get that PhD. Like, what made you, say, hey, I'm gonna go get a PhD, man.
Man, I'm gonna try to give you the most short version I can because I have to go back to undergrad because that's kind of where to help you guys understand like this was not always like in the trajectory for me. I mean, most of us when we finish high school, we're just like, we're going to college because that's what's expected. You might not even know why you want to go to college, but you're just like, I mean, that's the next thing to do. Or your parents is like, you better get a job.
Go. Like, can't
Yeah.
you gotta go.
Either you get a job or you go into college. So I went to college. I changed my major so many times in undergrad. But I knew I wanted to do something in the realm of communication and speaking because I loved public speaking from a young age. And I used to do like oratory contests at a young age and just be in different events for Black History Month at church, reading poems, reading the announcements. So like me starting college, did not know what I wanted to do career-wise. I just knew my gifts, talents, and passions, which I think is important for everyone to recognize those things are significant. So about, I want to say a few months, maybe 1 or 2 months before graduating undergrad, I had applied for Teach for America because I had a interdisciplinary English degree. So I was like, since I don't know what I want to do with my degree, I think teaching is always easy to go into with a humanities degree. So I had applied for that. But in addition, I had also looked into going to ministry school. So that was because throughout undergrad, I was really involved with different Christian orgs, and I was president of a Bible study. So I was leading and teaching. I mean, I was just a kid, but that's something I was doing because I grew up in the church. So by the time I was about to graduate, I just had felt, not that I wanted to like go to seminary or like be a pastor. I think it was the teacher in me. I was like, I was doing all this in undergrad. I feel like I want to learn a little bit more how to teach people. That was just the idea. Like, I just want to grow spiritually. I want to know how to exegese the text. So anyways, so I had applied for Teach for America and I had made it to like the last round, didn't get it. So for me, I was like, oh, that's my sign that I'm supposed to pursue ministry. So literally less than a month of me graduating with my bachelor's degree, I have moved, and I'm originally from Michigan. So I'm a military brat. I had grew up in Japan for most of my childhood because my dad's in the Navy, but we're residents of Michigan. So that's where I did my collegiate, degree and all my higher education. So anyways, I had moved to Ohio. And then by that point, you know how you start second guessing the thing that you are doing. So I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this because I'm looking at all my friends either going to get a master's or going to get a job. And I'm like, I'm just here at like this Bible college and I have a bachelor's, but I'm not using it. So I started second guessing. I was like, I'm gonna apply for jobs at a community college with a bachelor's and I'm gonna be teaching. And I didn't get no jobs, of course, like I had no experience. But within a few weeks, the church connected to the Bible college hired me to be an assistant technical writer for the church. And fast forward that journey, working for the church as a writer, working on different campaigns, doing copy editing, copywriting, working on the marketing materials, that led me to want to get my master's in professional and technical writing after I finished my time at Bible school. So although I went there with one intention, like God had another intention as well. So I ended up getting my master's. And at that point, though, I went back to Michigan, Eastern Michigan University, where I had got my bachelor's. And most people leaving that program, they either went to get an industry job or they went to do a PhD. So for me, I felt like it seemed like communications, working in a communications sector would probably be a good fit for me. So I was getting these technical skills thinking I was going to go and be leading something because I knew I had like a leadership skill set. But my advisors, my mentors, my amazing mentors, they saw something in me and they were like, Jayla, have you thought about going into a PhD program? And then I was just like, not really, not with my degree, because at the time, I didn't know what people with a master's or bachelor's, like in English and then professional technical writing, I really didn't know like what would I do like with a PhD in that field. But then they started to encourage me to do some research projects, to present, go to conferences. And then by exposing me to those things, I saw that there was a place for me to do type of cultural work within writing and professional and technical writing, that I could still do something I was passionate about. And it would translate in the classroom, it would translate into research. So that put that kind of desire in me to pursue, to at least apply to a program. So I applied to Michigan State University. Many people don't know this, but I had a list of about 7 schools. And then I knocked it down to 5, which is rare because they tell you to apply to so many schools because the selection process, it's highly competitive. Like most doctoral programs are taking 3 to 4 people a year. So I just applied to Michigan State University because I was like, they had everything that I felt like I wanted in a program. The professors were doing research at the intersections of culture, digital media, professional writing, and those were like my interests at the time. So they had an early decision, which was really strategic. I think that's how they get people. And I applied, and 2 weeks later, I found out I was accepted, fully funded with a scholarship. And that began my journey of my 4 years doing my doctorate degree at Michigan State University.
That's amazing, man. Like all what you just told me, like, I think about that in the future PhD, me and my fiance, and like just to know those things, like to hear that from you, it's amazing to know that because everybody don't give you like a roadmap of like, hey, I went through this, like, hey, it wasn't easy, I had to apply to this, I had to do this. So to hear that, it's amazing. I think it'd be amazing for the viewers, but I'm glad you also persevered through that and just said, hey, I'm gonna get it
wasn't easy. And I think it's important that we share our journeys and our stories to whether it's higher education, or I know you interview a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, and it's important that we hear those stories, which is why I love your podcast and your platform, because all the journeys and the road to get to where we're at, it seems so out of reach. But when you hear the stories, you're just like, it was really us stepping out on faith, stepping out on an inkling, whether you call it a divine, leading, or just an idea or something that you were passionate about, something you were interested in. We are ordinary people that took a chance to do something that seemed extraordinary. So, even with you and your fiance, congratulations. Everything is possible. And I'm sure if that's something that you guys want to do, that you will be excellent and definitely will be able to achieve that.
Thank you. Thank you. I need that right there. I need that. How is it being a college professor, man? Like, how is it?
So the interesting thing is I was definitely nervous about stepping into the actual job title because I've been teaching for since 2015. So that is the really nice thing about my master's, and during my PhD program, I had teaching fellowships. Mm-hmm. So I got to teach while I was in school, and that paid for my schooling, and it provided me with a modest, and I say modest, like when I mean modest, living stipend. But it gave me at least the collegiate teaching experience. So I really think that prepared me to go into the role of a professor because I've already been in the college classroom. Now, I will say the biggest difference is like, I'm no longer a student. So like that identity shift. And mind you, I just finished my doctorate degree in May. So it's still a journey of just waking up in the morning and having to remind myself, like, girl, you're a professor, you're a doctor, like, this is your classroom, you're no longer a student. Yes, I have people that I answer to, and yes, there's hierarchies within the university, but I have so much more agency as a professor, and I'm enjoying it so far. One thing I will say, it can get hard because there's a lot more like demands as far as committees and as far as meetings and different things of that nature. I love being in the classroom with students. So I was really happy that James Madison brought students back into the classroom, although it's still a little scary sometimes knowing that COVID is still out there. There's risk, but they've taken really good safety precautions. We have to wear a mask anytime we're in the building. I have like, a shield behind my desk. So I feel pretty safe when I'm teaching, and it's been a fun experience. I will say though, this is something me and my colleagues have talked about. We do think that for many of the students, having like that year off, many of them taking classes online for a year, Zoom University, which we call it. Right. We think that it did impact them, and we won't really know for sure until like studies are done, but we do think it impacted just students getting back acclimated into like a collegiate experience. And we're just seeing some of those effects like in the classroom. Because I've taught before, I'm seeing a difference with just, this bunch of students versus students who didn't have to deal with the pandemic prior to coming to college. Right. So that's been interesting. And I feel like it's just made me be more flexible. It's made me be more accommodating and attentive to the needs of my students. Because I think you have to, like, currently in these times.
You have to, and that's crazy that we speak on that. I'll bring this up, I ain't even question. But me in my master's class, I actually had to write about that, like how students feel, and like how professors like sometimes don't really care about that. It's like, hey, okay, you gotta do your work, this is what you do. And they was doing a study on like how, like, if you get to know your student, like just even a smidget, like it'll make them feel better in the class, make them feel welcome. So yeah, it's an amazing thing that you're doing that, to be able to let them know, like, hey, we're here for you.
Man, you have to, like, I have a syllabus, I have policies, and a few weeks in, I realized these policies have to be flexible because students were getting sick. I mean, people were out for weeks, emailing me, still wanting to be on top of their work, but they're like, I have to be out. And, now they have policies, even if you weren't, tested positive, if you have symptoms, if you've been around people, they're recommending still for you to quarantine. So yes, I've had students that have been out, and I'm like, if a teacher is not being flexible, then you in the wrong job right now, because you have to be flexible.
Got to. So in that, I would say, what is your it factor, man? Why you do what you do?
I liked that question when I saw it. I think my it factor is, the reason why I do what I do is there were people before me who were very intentional with seeing me be successful. And I want to say my parents for sure, but in undergrad, my mentors. I had mentors, and I wasn't seeking out mentors. It was just the spaces I was in, the organizations I was part of. They always saw something in me, whether I was struggling or whether I was leading something, and they took to me and wanted to walk me through different obstacles as a young adult, as a teenager in college. And when I looked back, and I was like, wow, like they didn't have to be there for me in undergrad, like my mentors and ministers and different leaders and professors. Not everybody has that experience. And I was so grateful that I had people through navigating college, because we all know undergrad is like an experience. That's the first time you are on your own. Most people, it's the first time they're on their own, and they're expected to navigate this whole new world, but we still babies, like not like babies in the crib, but like we're young adult babies in undergrad. And you think and then you learn quickly, like life is difficult. So for me, I believe my it factor is I always am looking for ways I can inspire and help the next person with whatever information I have to give to them. Like, I'm not going to be selfish, because that's what was demonstrated to me. I don't think if I would have had people in my corner like that, I would have gotten to where I am. So now I just love to help me in ways that I can. And I think that's why I really enjoy teaching. Of course, I love teaching like the different content I teach, but seeing students like learn and grow, my goal is always in the classroom, just to see them grow as a person and inspire them in whatever way I can.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what is your ultimate life goal, man? Like,
that is such a big question. My ultimate life goal is honestly to always continue to walk in like whatever is my purpose for that given moment. So right now, my purpose is to be the best, professor I could be, and to be the best, daughter, sister, friend I could be. But some of my passions, along with teaching, because teaching is not just the only thing I want to do. Back in 2018, I started an online media platform for women. And just because of the pandemic and me finishing my dissertation, I've honestly been on pause for over a year. But I would love to, in addition to teaching, to see that grow into a media platform for women, a magazine, a digital magazine for women. And actually, this is the first time I'm announcing this publicly, but we're rebranding and we will be relaunching next year. So that is something I'm really looking forward to. It's something I've been working on behind the scenes. Even though everything's been quiet on our social pages, we will be relaunching and rebranding, a whole makeover. So I'm excited to get back to doing that. In addition, I'm a writer at heart. Like, I teach writing. I teach more writing in terms of like professional technical writing for businesses, entrepreneurs, like a lot of the digital media stuff, the marketing things, and stuff that goes on your websites and stuff that goes to audiences and consumers. But I love to write. I've been writing since I was 18 in terms of journaling. So I look forward to the day where I am a published author. and where I'm doing my own book tours, not just academic book tours, but for my nonfiction writing, maybe fiction writing. I don't really know about fiction, but for sure nonfiction writing. And I look forward to having my little shelf in my books in Barnes and Noble, Oprah's book club.
It's all happening. It's gonna all
Yeah.
happen. That's amazing because I'm an author. I'm a published author out here. Been a
Yes,
published
I
author since
love it.
2018. Book Black Man on Amazon, and it's been
Nice.
amazing, man. It sold a lot of copies. It inspires me to every time I talk to my friends or like family. When you write another book, like we need another one. I'm like, okay.
When did you publish your first book?
It was in 2018. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, definitely send me that information because I love to support other authors. So definitely send me that.
I got you, man. I got you. So man, tell me, what is one of your, see, you told me that you got your media platform. It's about to come back out. It's about to be beautiful, big time in
It's about to be
2023.
on and popping.
I'm gonna support you too.
Period.
That's how we gotta do. But like, what is your dream job then? Like, what is it?
My dream job. Ooh, so that's good too. I think it stems from what I've already talked about a little bit, but
Mm,
as far as a title, definitely to own my own media platform. So that would be the next dream job. We look at platforms like Essence, and we see how it started as a magazine, but it has grown to so much more. They have the Essence Festival, they have the Essence, the music festival, and they just do so much other stuff now. They moved from print to digital, and that is reaching so many people. And we're seeing a lot more media platforms that are using their brand to reach people in different ways through, clothing and apparel, through small events. So I would like something like that for women that is inspiring women, that is encouraging them, and it's hitting them, in all the different areas from age of transitioning out of high school to college to young adult. That's kind of like my target demographic. And with the media platform that is rebranding, that has been what we tried to do. But with me being in school, it was so hard for me to really go all out in the way I wanted to. So when we relaunch, I'm looking forward to having a small team when I do the relaunch, and to really build a great online platform. So although I'm a professor, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a budding entrepreneur in the works.
okay. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I feel like everybody got a little piece of it in them. People that are
Me
entrepreneurs.
too.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this today. So, man,
Yeah.
tell me about your involvement in your different and various organizations, and what spiked your involvement. Like, I seen so much of it in your bio. I was like, hey, man, okay, we can't. We just gonna ask this question right here.
Yeah, so I do a lot nationally for the field of writing studies and technical communication.
Mhm.
So one of the things I'm involved in, I'm a member of the Black Technical and Professional Communications Task Force for the National Council of Teachers of Education, NCTE. And one of the things that we do is that we advocate for Black technical communication practices to be not just an additional thing that we teach in the classroom or additional thing like a special topic, but we are advocating for that to be, the norm. So when you take a class and when you're learning about technical communication practices, professional writing practices, the cultural things, it seems like in those classes, when it comes to other cultures and how they demonstrate those, it's a unit. It's like a cultural unit, a special topic. So we created a resource list. We've already done a workshop hosted by Virginia Tech. That was last year. And we have a special issue journal coming out next year. So it's been really great working with this task group for my field. Another thing, this year, I just accepted a position, a digital media and promotions editor with the Computers and Composition Digital Press. So this is one of the few digital presses in our field that publishes non-traditional text. So we all know book publishers, they publish written text. So with our press, we publish books that are like multimedia. So they can have audio, they can have visuals, they can have mixed media in it. So I'm really excited to be on board with that organization. It gives me more experience with the publishing, and with me as a writer and an academic, I think it would be great for me to see from the back end, even though mine is more so on the marketing and the digital media, it gives me some insight as well. So those are the two main ones I'm involved in right now.
I love that, man. That's amazing. You're just amazing out here. It's amazing, man. So with that, I'll say, man, do you have any questions for me?
Yes. So the one question I did have for you is I wanted you to talk a little bit about like what got you started with this platform, because I think it's so amazing what you're doing. And I hope more and more people catch on. If they don't, they missing out. So tell me a little bit about, and I guess the viewers who don't know, what got you started? Like, what's the goal with this?
So like always, when this question is asked, it's asked a lot, but not in the way that you asked. I would say that basically I was a student in college. I studied computer science, computer engineering, and every time I looked at a video, you know, I went to a whole HBCU and my professors were in black. Like I had black professors. And I say that to say this. When I got on YouTube, I'm looking for stuff like trying to study, trying to learn, and it's always a different foreign nationality or white person or something like that. And I was like, man, look, God, if you get me through this, you get me through school, man, I'm gonna build a platform to network with my people first and let kids and young adults and even older adults see that like we are out here, we're doctors, we're lawyers, man, we people, we're engineers, we're just people working regular jobs, man. Like it's no problem to have a network like this, and it's beautiful to network. I also created this because I wanted to see how much I can network with multiple people that I always wanted to talk to, and see if I can get in touch with them. And the fact that it's been happening is just a blessing, you know, just to be like, hey, I'm gonna write this out, I'm gonna see how it's gonna say.
Yeah.
And to see them, their media team or them themselves get back with me and say, hey, man, I have to get this. I like what you're doing. Well, man, all right, look, you know, so
That's awesome. I was so honored when you reached out to me. It was months ago, but I was like, I had penciled it in the back of my mind. That's one thing I try to do. I'm like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I'm so happy we were able to finally get it done. And I honestly think this was the perfect timing, like to do it.
Yeah, man. Because I asked when I seen your message, I told my girl, we was riding the car, she hit me back. It's good. And she was like, everybody gonna do that. I was like, right, because I write all y'all down, like my notes. I'm gonna reach back out but the fact that you reach back out, like a lot of people do, man, it was like every time y'all do, it just like it warms my heart, like I'm doing the right thing. Yes, it's good. Okay, cool. Let's schedule this. I'm glad I got Calendly now too.
Yeah, that made it super easy. Yeah. I guess the last thing I'm curious about, because you and I can vibe with you because I feel like we're both visionaries and we just want to like see people doing the best they can do, but also create spaces where other people can be inspired, because that's what I'm getting from this, just this conversation. What's next? Like, because it seems like this came out of just kind of almost out of nowhere, but since it's taken off, have you had ideas of like what other things you can do with this podcast platform, or you want to continue just to do interviews and just see where it takes you?
So I'm gonna always do the interviews. It's not going nowhere. I love to do it, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, you definitely should keep it. It's awesome. I was watching a few before ours. And I was just getting inspired by the people I was listening to. I was like, dang, they doing some cool stuff.
Thank you, man. But I'm gonna try to go ahead and get us a network like our LinkedIn that we do have, and just get it together so that we can always reach out to each other. So, like you were saying something about Essence, right? Yes. So I was thinking that it can be an it factor meet that people could come and meet and talk And then it can be like a weekend or so, and like I can fly people in, or we can get people just to meet on Zoom and speak to not only just myself, but to students as well. I'm like, hey, you can do it. I can be your mentor. Hey, you want to be in this field? Okay, this is how you kind of can do it. So it can kind of give that light to say, oh man, like, we out here doing it. And I haven't seen
I
that yet.
love
So
that.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And
I love that.
it'd be amazing, man.
Yeah, I think that would be so dope. Like, and especially I'm noticing like the meetups have become more popular. I would say, I don't want to say post-pandemic yet, because I don't think we're fully post-pandemic, but mid current pandemic meetups are a safe way that we can have smaller events where people feel comfortable, given everything that's happened. But it also makes more sense because then people don't always have to be at a large event. You can do these smaller little things. And then Zoom, of course, Zoom is so nice that we can do that. So I look forward to doing that. Just let me know. And if my schedule allows, I'm there.
I definitely will. And what we gonna do? We're gonna put the calendar in there, and I'm gonna let you know. Like, hey, look, we might not make it this day, but you're gonna be here this day. You gotta be
Yes.
here. So with that, man, I'll say that's the episode, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.